Okay, today I wanted to do a quick video on winterizing your RV. So here it is a blistery cool past peak fall day here, so right before Thanksgiving. So the first thing you need to do is locate the outdoor water heater section of your RV. It's just a little quarter turn of that little knob there, and this door will come right open. Then I point to the anode right there, so that's going to be your drain plug. So all you've got to do is locate your 27 millimeter socket, or 1 1/16 if you got a standard set. Loosen that bad boy up. Now there might be a little pressure here, as you'll see. That initial burst, and most of these RV water heaters are about 5 or 6 gallons anyway. So that's just kind of glug along there and just slowly burp out 5 or 6 gallons of water onto the ground. So just leave that plug out, and it'll slowly do its thing. Now the next thing you want to do is, if you've been boondocking at all and you've had water in your tank at all throughout the year, you're going to want to do that. But here's a close-up of that anode that I pulled out. So you can see it's kind of crunchy and cruddy. These are made out of magnesium. It's just a really soft metal to attract all of the calcium and mineral deposits that are in your water. So you're supposed to replace these every year. I'll post a link for a 2-pack. They're super cheap. It's like 18 bucks. And that 2-pack actually has the socket in it. So here you can see the drain outlet. So we went boondocking a couple times, so I'm just going to make sure that's completely bone dry just by pulling that drain valve there. And again, that's just fresh water, so you can just dump that wherever you need to. Next steps are inside. So there's actually 2 panels that you've got to remove, but first just make sure all your spigots are closed before you turn on your pump. Make sure you got your at least 1 gallon of antifreeze, RV rated, of course. So here's the panel on mine right below the fridge. There's 4 screws there. You'll see that 3 of them are one length. Then the 4th one was a little bit extra long, just a extra bonus from the factory, I guess. There, I don't know if they're all like that or if that was just mine. One random drywall screw in there. So here we've got our pump, and you can see that pump there. We've got 2 valves essentially. So you've got this valve right here, and when the valve handle is in the position of the pipe, that's the direction that it's flowing. So this is allowing water to flow through from our boondocking tank through to the pump to the outlet, and it gets distributed from there. This other valve, this just goes to a tube that kind of dead ends, and we'll zoom out here in a second, but you'll see that one's going perpendicular, so the water is not flowing through that right now. So we've then got that end of that tube. You'll see here in a second there's a bunch of crusties and crumbs in there from them shoving it through the wall from the factory. Then we'll move on to our other door. So I like this one because there's just this little filler panel that's in here with 1 screw. You can remove this other panel off to the right here with the same 4 screws, and you'll have access to the valves, but you can reach them from here. So I chose to do it this way on mine. So I'll stick the camera around the corner here, and it's the same thing here. You're just gonna rotate those 2 valves. So here's the cold water side. I've already turned these. So this was facing the water heater, which means that the water was flowing into the bottom of this, getting heated up, traveling to the top. And then as you'll see, it was coming out the top. But now those are shut off to bypass the water heater. So that water is no longer going into or out of that water heater. And then we can come back over to the first pump that we were at. So now we're going to turn those valves. So that's our boondock tank is now in the off position, and our auxiliary pump coolant flush is now on. So now when we turn our pump on, it'll pull directly from that tube. So all we've got to do is open up our antifreeze, pop a hole in that foil, and stick that tube down in there. Once that tube's in, just go into your bathroom. On this model, ours is in the bathroom, and you got to locate the 12-volt pump switch. So make sure your heaters are off, obviously. Hit that pump on switch. You can kind of hear it charge up a little bit there, and then all you've got to do from that point is just, I like to start from the furthest away on the cold, and I just turn it on nice and slow and low, and you just kind of wait to see that pink. This spigot has quite the aerator in it, so it's kind of a frothy pink, but it's pink nonetheless. You'll see when we get to the bathroom one, that's a little bit more of a traditional flow, and it just looks a little bit more clear. I like to start with the farthest away and then work my way back towards the source. So again, we'll start with the cold, and I just like to do it this way. Some people like to do cold and hot at the same time. I just like to check my bases. So cold, made it flush there. We'll go into the shower. Make sure nothing's in the way here that you don't want dyed pink. So we're going to move these loofahs. Then I'm just going to start with the cold on the tub here. And just nice and slow and low. Again, they only had 1 gallon of this left at the store, so I didn't want to just be dumping it everywhere. So as soon as it turns pink, you can turn it off there. You just want to get a nice little bit that can go down in those water traps. Next is the toilet. Don't mind how dirty this thing is. Kind of fill that up until you start seeing pink. Dump it, and then just put a little bit more in the bowl because this flange likes to be wet over the winter. So once you got that a little bit wet, go through, do the same thing with your hot side on everything. So let's start back at the sink, and I guess I forgot to hit record when I was doing this. I'll just turn that to hot, do the same thing. It'll start clear again. Wait till it turns pink, then go back to the bathroom sink. Do the same thing, do the hot side until that turns pink. Then do the same with the shower. Once you've got that done, all you've got to do is go back around, and I don't tighten this anode back in right now. I'll just kind of loosely fit it so no critters or spiders or anything get in there. But I'll leave it loose enough so that if there is any residual water in there, it's not going to crack the threads or anything crazy like that. Plus, it'll be a good reminder for me if I do accidentally hook it up next year with this loose that I wanted to replace this anode. So I'll post a link, but again, these things are dirt cheap. It looks like they're $23 regular price. They're doing a Black Friday deal right now, but this kit is 2 anodes, the 27 millimeter socket, and it's $18.39 right now. So just stock up, have them. You can see, mine looked pretty much just crunchy like that and disgusting, and new ones will just be nice and shiny. It is a once a year thing. It's cheap insurance. An RV water heater, a friend of mine had to replace one. It was about $800 for a little 6-gallon water heater. So don't be that guy. Spend the $20. You do it in 5 minutes. I'll also post a link for some RV antifreeze if you can't source any locally. Just a reminder, I do get like a nickel or something if you guys click on any of these links, supposedly. I don't know. Take care. Have fun. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe.